Hello, my name is Ari Waldman. I am a person who stutters. I'm sitting in Shednira's office in Lee & Associates. I'm reading from Chabad.org, daily Tanya, Ikeret Kodesh, middle of Epistle 20, Tuesday the 11th of Tishre, 5781, Tuesday, September 29th, 2020. Ikeret HaKodesh. This is my recording 1 onto YouTube. Ikeret HaKodesh, middle of Epistle 20. The Alter Rebbe now goes on to say that when the radiation descends in the third manner, it is manifest only in creatures of the lowest order, those deriving from the element of earth, this element being lower than the other elements of fire, air, and water. And it is mainly within the physical earth that the divine power of creating Yesh from Ayin is revealed. This power derives from the essence of Ein Sof, light. It is primarily found in the encompassing light and is revealed through the Kav, the inner light. This becomes apparent in the ability of the earth to make things grow, the physical growth of vegetative matter, from the spiritual power of growth found in the earth, is a clear demonstration of Yesh resulting from Ayin. Furthermore, the earth reveals this power constantly. It constantly produces vegetation as Yesh from Ayin. In this, it differs from all living things that were created during the 6 days of creation. Unlike all living things, which once created, simply reproduced, the earth consistently continues to reveal its creative power of Yesh from Ayin. Thus, the radiation within the earth is merely a radiation of a radiation of a radiation. It nevertheless demonstrates God's creative power because it comprises both the encompassing light and the light of the Kav, which activates the power of the encompassing light to create and animate created beings. The Alter Rebbe also explains that the distinctive power described above was revealed specifically within the earth, because the earth is the lowest element of all. For, as explained above, it is specifically at the lowliest level of creation that the rebounding light manifests the essence of the original illumination with superior intensity. Ve'od yeter al kain al kol hanal. Furthermore, in addition to all that was mentioned above, ha'ara da ha'ara da ha'ara, the radiation of the radiation of the radiation which descends into a created being, utterly concealed being, that neither the mahot nor the mitziut of divinity, and nevertheless containing both the inner illumination, the kav, and the encompassing, and all of the above, i.e. the manner in which both these levels of illumination ultimately radiate within created beings. He mira'a kacha v'yichalata v'yesod ha'afar ha'gashmi b'gilui atzam, demonstrates its power and ability inasmuch as it is a godly radiation descending from Malchut, Atzilut, and the element of the physical earth in an immense manifestation. V'yeter az miyesodot ha-elyonot mimenu, begam mitzava hashamayim, surpassing that of the elements vis-a-vis air, fire, air, and water, the transcendent, and even the heavenly hosts. She'ein bekocham v'yichaltem lahotzi yesh me'ein tamid, for they do not have it in their power and ability to constantly bring forth something from nothing. Yesh me'ayin. Yesod ha'afar, ki yesod ha'afar, matzmiach tamid yesh me'ayin, heim ha'shavim ve'ilanot. Like the element of earth that constantly makes something yesh sprout from nothing, ayin, namely the herbs and trees that constantly grow from the earth, vegetative power. Even those plants that result from the sowing and planting are produced in a manner that resembles yesh mi'ayin. The seed or the seedling disintegrates and serves merely to arouse the vegetative power. V'mazal hamaka v'omer gada, as the mazal for the individual angel of destiny that strikes each herb and says, grow. Our sages teach that there is no blade of grass below that does not have mazal above that strikes it and says to it, grow. Would it not seem, then, that in addition to Earth's vegetative power, there is another factor in growth? Hayinu la'achar shekavar semach ha'ashav. This takes place only after the plant has already sprouted. Once the plant exists as a created entity, it merely has to grow taller. The tree has to produce fruit with a certain taste, and so on. And these stages relate to the mazal. Ve'eno omer lo litzmoach ve'ayin layesh ela mi kotan ligodel v'leshat pari kol mayin main bifrati par pratiyot. The mazal does not tell it to sprout ex nihilo into substantiality, but only to grow from being small to being large, or to bear fruit of its own particular species. In Or HaTorah, the Tzemach Tzedek explains that the mazal sends forth an arousal to the power of growth that is found within the grass or tree, causing it to grow. The basic cause of the growth, however, lies in the above-mentioned vegetative power. Elsewhere, the Tzemach Tzedek explains that the above-quoted smiting means that the mazal illumines the particular tree or grass with which it is connected, causing it to be drawn to its source, and hence to grow even larger. Aval terem yitzmach lemi yamar kol mazal v'mazal l'chol esev ve'esev b'frati pratiot. For before it sprouts, to whom would the individual mazal of each particular herb ordain all its details. Me hachach had someach shabo shehu ein v'ruchona v'hem gashmim. The above-mentioned plants of earth grow then from the vegetative property within it, which is substantial and spiritual, while they are physical, that we have here, then is yesh from ayin, which, as explained above, derives from the essence of the Ein Sof and finds expression in the element of earth. Why specifically there? Ein zot ela mishum de raglai, the Adam kadmon mistimin beta'achatit ase. This is so only because the feet of Adam Kadmon culminate at the lowest level of Asiya. The feet, i.e., the last and lowliest of Adam Kadmon, the primordial thought that encompasses all the levels of creation, concludes in the lowest degrees of the nethermost world, the world of Asiya, and specifically in the lowly element of earth within it. Tachat raglav, V'ir or, Ein Sof, Baruch Hu Hasovev Kol Almin. And below his feet, below the lowliest levels of Adam Kadmon, radiates the infinite Ein Sof light, which encircles, i.e., transcends all worlds. At the very place at which there ceases the dwelling divine illumination that permeates all worlds, there begins the encompassing degree of divine light that transcends all worlds. Li hefsek Rav Beinehem Rav Engule Aleph Kuf Levata. I think it stands for Adam Kadmon Levata. Without any great interruption between them, except for the Igulim of Adam Kadmon alone. The primordial thought of Adam Kadmon consists of two modes of illumination: Yosher, literally straightness, i.e., a permeating mode, and Igulim, literally circles, i.e., a transcendent mode, where the former mode ceases, and there remains only the latter. This is not absolute infinity like the Ein Sof, light that transcends all worlds. There is found the absolutely infinite illumination of Ein Sof, literally, that transcends all worlds equally. V'gam haku me'or Ein Sof hamastim misa v'siyum ragli Adam Kadmon me'ir mimita lamala bechinat or choser. Also the Kaf of Ein Sof light, culminating at the end of the feet of Adam Kadmon, radiates from below upwards. In a mode of Or Choser, a reflected light, as mentioned above. This is a light that rebounds upward with increased intensity from a surface which blocks its further downward progress. Hence, for example, the atmosphere closest to the Earth's surface is warmer than the atmosphere in altitudes which are nearer to the sun. In the same way, when the beam of the Kav, whose function is to infuse the inner reaches of all created beings with divine light, reaches the farthest stages of the divine thought that encompasses all worlds of created beings. It bounces back with sharper impetus. It is now an or choser, kamo she imluch shim meluvash ve'arich anpin ve'abba ve'ima vav zayin aleph ve'nokva Tatzilut Meir Be'or Choser Memelchut Tatzilut. This is like the investment of the Kav in Arich Anpin, Abba and Ima, and Za and Nukva of Atzilut. This probably stands for Zayin Aleph, which radiates as an aura choser from Malchut of Atzilut. The Malchut de Atzilut he bechinat keter mimita lamala. A Malchut of Atzilut, if the Sfirot are considered from below upwards, is thus a category of keter, as mentioned earlier in the epistle. V'niyutz tachlitan b'sofan, and their beginning is wedged in their end. With regard to Malchut, this means that the beginning of Keter, which is loftier than Chochmah, is to be found within Malchut. With regard to Kav, it means that the beginning of the Kav is weighed in the culmination of the feet of Adam Kadmon, which ends in the nethermost levels of the world of Asiya, in the element of earth. Since the purpose of Kav is to reveal divinity, the element of earth best reveals that aspect of God's infinity, which expresses itself in creating Yesh from Ayin, as the Alter Rebbe now concludes, Chavahu, B'siyum, Hako, the Or Ein Sof, HaMistayim, Siyum, Yosher, the Raglai, Adam Kadmon. It is likewise at the culmination of the Kav, of the Ein Sof, culminating at the ending of Yosher, of the feet of Adam Kadmon, i.e., when the feet of the lowest levels of Adam Kadmon descend into the interior of the various levels, all the way down to the very lowest level, the element of earth at the lowest level of Asiya, Meir, Mimita Lamala, Devchinat, Or, Hanshama, the Malchut, the Asiya. It, i.e., the Kav, then radiates from below upwards, from the glimmer of a glimmer of a glimmer that is found within the physical earth, to the category of the light, the Neshama, of the Malchut of Asiya, that this light, the Or HaNeshama, is in fact the lowest level of spirituality within Asiya. Asiya is the lowest of the worlds. Malchut is the final Sephira with Asiya, and of the 10 component Sephirot that comprise Malchut is the lowest. Nevertheless, since it is after all the light of Neshama, it is actually divinity, as the Alter Rebbe now goes to say, Shehu Elokut mamash b'chitzoniut hakelim the malchut atzilut, which is actual divinity originating in the chitzoniut, the exterior aspect of the kelim of malchut of atzilut, which, as said above, becomes the light of the neshama of Beriya, Yetzira, and Nesiya. In this lowest level of the light of neshama, that which is in Asiya, there is found the illumination of the final decrees of Asiya, i.e., that which created beings is the final level. And this enables the Ein Sof to reveal its capacity for creating Yesh from Ayin, as demonstrated in the above described constant power of growth. Lefi ma shekatuv b'sefer hagilgulim perek chaf hava b'lakute amarim, according to the statement in chapter 20 of Sefer Hagilgulim, citing Likute Amarim, mitlabeshet tchila ha'ara zu shel haku the or ein sof ba'or ha'etzilut shebe asiya. This radiation from the kav of the infinite Ein Sof light vests itself first in the light of Etzilut in Asiya, umimena levriya Yitzira shebesiya, and from there to Beriya and Yitzira in Asiya, umehen livchinat or hanshama the malchut to Asiya, and from them to the category of the light of the neshama, the malchut of Asiya. Al yedei ze yesh koach izus siyum hakli the malchut Asiya should be a sod hafar. From this derives the creative power and force and the culmination of the keli of the malchut of Asiya, i.e., the lowest degree of Sephira of Asiya, within the element of earth, Hu Mamar, Tidashe, Haaretz, V'gom, V'lehot, Lehayot, Poel, B'kerev, Haaretz, Tamid, Liolam Vaid. This is the constant and everlasting effect throughout the earth of the creative utterance. Let the earth bring forth herbs, this Vayat being the source of the power of vegetative growth. Bechinat Ein Sof, in a mode of infinitude. Not only is the capacity for growth an instant of Yesh Mi'ayin and a result of God's infinitude, the same is true of its constant recurrence. V'lo bulvad Sheshet Yemei Bereshit K'mamar Yishartzu Hamayim Me'amar Totzi Haaretz Nefesh Chaya. And not only during the 6 days of creation, as with the fiat, let the waters bring forth an abundance of creeping creatures, and the fiat, let the earth bring forth living things, ever since these one-time creative utterances, every being, living being, derives from another, and not ex nihilo, from the earth or water. Mechachma the malchut Asiya. These fiats derive from the chachma of the malchut of Asiya, she b'shivat yemei bereshit ha'ir ba'olam hazeh ha'ara Eor Ein Sof B'Chesed Chagam. For during the 7 days of the beginning, then shone in this world a radiation from its infinite Ein Sof light in a mode of gratuitous kindness, without any prior elevation of Mayin Nukvin at all. During those days, there was no spontaneous arousal initiated from the world below.